Hi Bubba Blog, I'm Suzanne Bowen, founder of SBF and creator of Bar Amp and the Slim and Toned Prenatal Bar Workout DVD. And I want to talk to you today about one of the most common questions that I get, and it's always to do with abdominals. Abdominals in pregnancy, abdominals in the postnatal period, and how to get rid of that mummy tummy. So let me just talk to you a little bit about just some basic anatomical things that happen in pregnancy and why I am against traditional ab work. Now, there are different experts out there with different opinions. So I'm going to tell you why I believe in, swapping out some core exercises with the, and not doing the traditional ab exercises, because just some general anatomical, physical things that go on during pregnancy. So a lot of times you'll hear you can't do traditional ab work because you can't lie on your back past like 18 weeks. Some people say 24 weeks, so there's discrepancy there. But I say a lot of other people say you can definitely work your abs on an incline, on a ball, and I'm not really for that either, because let me just talk to you about what's going on in the abs. So obviously you're designed when you're pregnant for your abs to expand and your belly to expand, your skin to stretch, everything comes out. You have this connective tissue, so I've worn this black shirt just to symbolize the connective tissue. So you've got this, and it would not be this wide, but the connective tissue, and then the top layer of the abdominal muscle. And it's not that it's so much of a connection, but it's just all interlacing, right? But as you expand, the belly expands, that in and of itself can weaken and make that area lax. So you want to avoid any action as your belly expands that would force that to get even more lax. And oftentimes people will think, and I've seen it in classes, I've seen it in people that write to me, and they think they're doing their body good by working their abs and flexing their spine, and actually they are probably doing more damage, or at least they're not doing anything. And I actually think it's probably more damage, because if you're not pregnant, like I'm not pregnant, and you bring your ribs to your hips like this, flex your spine like this, and we core teachers say pull your navel to your spine, lift your abs up. Okay, so we can actively do that. And because there's not a lot to move, right? There's not a lot there. We're lifting and pressing up. But when you have a pregnancy and you've got a baby and all of the contents of the uterus that's expanding daily, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, where is that going to go when you do this? Okay, so would it go back? I don't really think it could go back. There's nowhere for it to go but out, right? So imagine your connective tissue, and then imagine that top layer, your six-pack layer that you're trying so hard to protect and tone. Imagine that as you crunch over and over and expanding over. You see that? Can you see that you're putting force on something that should just be neutral? It should be allowed to expand without forcing it apart. When you think you're doing yourself good, you could actually be doing that forced weakening. Okay, especially when you twist, because now you're not only flexing your spine, but you're rotating it. So that's even more force. So you're, 6 months pregnant and you're doing your bicycles and you're thinking, I'm gonna have the best abs. I just encourage you to rethink that, okay? So let's talk about the next thing that could cause some laxity in your abs, and that could just be your posture. How do you sit at your desk? Do you sit up like I am right now? Because I'm guilty of doing this. But do you see that action right there? Do you see what I just did? Doesn't that look like the crunch? It's the C curve in the back. I've created that force now that my abs are trying so hard not to, separate or weaken further. So you want to remember to keep your spine in a neutral position as much as you can. Now I know it's getting heavier and heavier in the front. It's getting harder to hold up. So let's just talk about a couple of exercises that you can do to maintain that neutral spine, but also really tone and define and really help you bounce back after pregnancy. One of them is super simple. So look right here. I'm sitting straight up, crossed legs, and I'm going to inhale in my rib cage, expand my rib cage, inhale. And as I exhale, with a neutral spine here, I'm gonna zip up from the pelvic floor, and I'm gonna feel the abdominal wall. So I want you to feel your sitting bones in the floor. So see that they're in the floor, and then I want you to back your back up, and I want you to make sure you're not moving through your lower back or through your shoulders. You're just gonna keep everything down. Inhale, and exhale, zip up and feel. Just take your fingers and feel. So dig around in there and see if you feel your abs contract. You should feel that it's like your girdle. That's your deepest layer of abdominal muscle, and that's gonna help you. That's a great core exercise, a great abdominal exercise that you can do that's generally safe, that won't put that force on the abdominal, that top layer of abdominal muscle. So you can do that up to a minute, and you can repeat it a few times. But the great thing about this is when your spine is in neutral, your back is got its natural curve. So you're feeling your sitting bones, your back, your shoulders are back over your hips. You've not tucked your hips under or tried to flatten out your lower back, but you've kept your tailbone back. You're going to, and you start from your pelvic floor muscles are lengthened, and you're zipping everything up, and you're working your deepest core muscles, which is gonna be excellent for your delivery and for your post-baby abs. Now, the second exercise I wanna show you is an exercise that can help you strengthen your upper back muscles so you can keep that good posture. So let's come onto all fours. And you can do this if you're, in the beginning part of your pregnancy, you can do it from a modified plank position, but if you're in your third trimester, I suggest just supporting your belly with your knees. But all you do is come onto all fours. And what we're gonna do, so you could either start here, this is more advanced, just make sure you're not tucking your hips. You wanna keep your spine as neutral as possible without sagging. You wanna keep, your abs lifted. And then support your body as you get bigger on your knees. And then what we're gonna do is drop the chest and lift the chest up. And drop the chest. Now, if that's too easy for you, you can always slide your knees back and drop the chest and lift the chest. And what does that do? It's a core exercise, but it really does target those upper middle back muscles that can be weak, that might be why you're not able to hold a really good neutral posture. So you won't create that, rounded lower back. You wanna keep the upper middle back muscles, which tend to be quite weak. You wanna strengthen those and keep those strong so that you can maintain good posture. You can do that for a minute. You can go back to your seated lift of the abs, your breathing, and then you can go back and do that 3 times. So you alternate the 2 3 times. And what you're gonna do when you're focused in on that breathing and you really take it, you drop and you press back up, is that not only are you going to tone your core, your deepest layer of abs in the front, your front core, and work your back core with those chest drops, but you're also gonna be focused on your breathing, and you're going to de-stress. Now remember, it's all about your best and not being perfect. And if you did some incorrect ab exercises back in the day, it's all good. You are where you are. Just remember, you could always do this in your postnatal period too. It's great to get that tone back into your abdominal wall. And also remember that once you deliver your baby, if it's your first one, you're gonna feel laxity in your abs. That's just the way we feel, and that's okay. It will not last forever. So I hope you got something out of this, and I'm super excited. I hope you will rethink those traditional ab exercises during your pregnancy, especially in the second and third trimesters, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.